Imagine this. Imagine that you are scrolling through your Instagram feed or your Facebook feed, and then you come across pictures and videos of different people, and suddenly your mood started to drop. And then you discovered that you were becoming irritable and also very displeased with yourself. It happens, right? I know that a lot of times we do sometimes feel this way because we see the activities from other people and we tend to feel a certain kind of way because there is a mold that the world has created such that they expect us to always fit into those molds so as to aspire or desire or crave to be like them. So when these situations occur, you discover that you suddenly feel as if you have not achieved so much, and then there is a very intense pressure upon your heart, making you feel as if you are either worthless or you have not arrived, or you even feel sometimes that you have not attained some certain heights that your peers or your peer group have attained. So in this video, we'll be talking about those negative influences that may tend to want to change you, change your character, change your person, or make you to compromise even when you do not want to. So we'll be looking at the signs to identify those influences and then how you can overcome them based on biblical standards. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for following. And if you are new here, you are very welcome to the family. Here on this channel, I talk about various things that includes your spiritual journey and also your faith and your lifestyle and every other thing that is in between. And the goal is to make you become a better person as we all grow together in this community. So you are very welcome. You are free to join us and also look around to be able to identify those videos that may speak to you or somebody that you know. So I encourage you to subscribe and also to hit the notification bell so that you will not miss any video that drops week by week. So in this video, we'll be looking at those influences that may want to affect you in the way you make your decisions, or those things that tend to affect you negatively when you come across them, and then how can we overcome them whenever they come around us. Those telltale signs that helps us to know that this is a negative influence. I must run away from it before it corrupts me or changes my beliefs, changes my perception or the way or my outlook to life. So that is what this video is all about. So I encourage you to stick around so that we can together identify some of these things and also find out ways through which we can biblically overcome them. Every one of us is a product of influence. We are a product of something that we believe in, something that we have already come to know, to love, or to probably because we have been cultured or cultivated along a particular way, we have grown in that dimension. So, for example, you may not love makeup like myself. I'm not a very makeup person. And the reason is because I grew up with that mindset. And so, because of that, I'm not used to wearing a lot of makeup, and it has become a part of my own journey, right? If you look at your own journey too, you would also discover that there are several influences that has conditioned you in certain ways. The way you think, the way you talk, the way you relate with people, the way you associate with them. But in this video specifically, we are not looking at the positive influences, but we are looking at the negative ones. Those influences that may have conditioned you or that may tend to want to condition you in a certain way by changing your beliefs, changing your value systems, and how you may be able to know what they look like or what they are, and how you can also overcome them whenever they come around you. The first telltale signs of negative influences that may be affecting you is that you have increased worries and fears happening to you. You see yourself suddenly becoming more anxious, more worried, more fearful as a result of the things that you are seeing. When events or activities around you starts to make you feel that way, feel the need, or make you feel pressure to the point that your anxiety increases, your fear increases, and then your worry level also increases. That is a sign that that particular event or activity is a negative influence. Now, the Bible says in Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, that we are supposed to think on those things that are true, those things that are honest, those things that are of good report, those things that will make us to feel good, that will make us to feel better. Anything that contradicts these kind of things definitely must be of negative influence. And how can you overcome them when they come around you in such manner, leading you to become very worrisome and very fearful because it's an event that may happen? And they may come in different shapes, different form, different manner. How can you overcome such? Isaiah 41 verse 10 encourages us not to fear. And you must also know that perfect love always casts out fear. Fear does not help us. In fact, it has been described that fear is false expression appearing real. It's not real. And it's important that you begin to overcome it. How do you then overcome it? The first thing that you need to do is to practice mindfulness. Be mindful that it may happen. Don't live in the assumption that it cannot happen to you. Fear can happen. It can creep in. Virtue as a result of the things that we see, or the movies that we have watched, or activities that we have engaged in. So when this happens, practice mindfulness. How do you practice mindfulness? Focus on the moment. Focus on now. Don't focus on those things. Those things that you watch on social media, activities that people are posting, are events that may have happened in the past or may not even be real in any way. They may have just been cooked up and they are not real. So focus on the now. Focus on how far you have achieved. Focus on your events or on things happening around you in the now. And also focus on things that are supposed to make you feel better, feel good. Things that would help you to be able to look at yourself in the right light, like confessions, like activities that you may have achieved in the past that helped you to realize your own capacities. So you may want to connect and find peace with God again in such moments of fear. The Bible even told us that we should cast our anxieties and fear upon the Lord because He cares for us. So that's one way through which you can overcome seasons of fear, seasons of anxiety as a result of negative influences. The second thing that may want to happen to you is that you have a feeling of being separated or drawing away from the faith. You feel like you want to draw away from the faith that you have come to know. You know that you have become a practicing believer, and then suddenly something is just pressing you, making you to feel as if you want to draw back from those beliefs, those values that you have cultivated. You are losing desire to pray. You are feeling as if you don't want to actually fellowship with other people or be in the midst of other people. That is a sign that there's an influence, and that influence is a negative one. How do you then overcome these things? The very best things that you can do when you don't feel the need to pray or you don't feel the need to be able to associate with other believers is that is when you need to pray the more. That's number one. That is the time when you need to pray the more. And then secondly, you may also want to look at the avenue of listening to audio Bibles and also playing music. For one, I tend to do that. When those seasons come and it seems as if I'm not interested in prayer, I will look for edifying music that I have on my phone or on my laptop and begin to play them so that it takes me back into that mode of worship and helps me to reconnect back with the source. So when you get to those points and those influences have begun to affect you in such a way that you are drawing back from those acts of worship, or praying, fellowshipping that has kept you going for several years, then there are negative influences and you need to fight back. And to fight back, all you need to do is to deliberately spend time with God in prayer. And when you still don't feel like praying, motivate yourself again into the spirit mode by picking up audio Bibles. Let it just be playing in the background. Also listen to worship music. After a moment, you will see that it will sharpen you, it will revitalize your spirit, and you will get back into the groove. The telltale signs is that you are seeing yourself beginning to increase in your rate of compromise. There's increased compromised values. When you discover that you are getting to a point where you have started to compromise on things that you ordinarily would not compromise on before, that's a sign of a negative influence. It's a sign that that activity that is leading you to that point is not good for you. It's not healthy. It does not promote righteousness, and it does not make you a better person either. So what do you do? How do you resolve this kind of situation? You may need an accountability partner. In my previous video, I spoke about the fact that as believers, you need accountability partners, or even somebody you may want to call a discipler, who tends to help you to become better by watching out for you and watching you as you are growing day by day, so that they can easily help you to identify those pathways that could lead you into further pitfalls or destruction. So you will need an accountability partner. You were not created to walk alone. Nobody was created to walk alone. No believer, in fact, is expected to be a believer on their own, without support, without help, without fellowshipping with other brethren or relating with other people who can help you along the journey. So you will need someone who can help you, to help you to identify that you are becoming compromised, or your values have started to change, right? Do you have an accountability partner, or do you have a discipler? Someone who can caution you, someone who can guide you, right? You need one if you don't have. So prayerfully ask God for directions on somebody who can be your accountability partner. Then you also need to prayerfully be obedient. Just prayerfully walk in obedience. Choose the path of obedience and also the path of discernment when you are relating with those things that may want to make you compromise your values. Another sign could be that you are constantly seeking approval from other people. You are seeking their approval. You are looking up to them for, trying to make them validate some of your actions, some of your decisions, and what have you. When you get to that point, you may want to check again whether that need to always be seeking approval, is it positive or is it negative? The positive ones could be maybe because you are relating with people who are also following Christ like you are, and they are just helping you along the path. But in the other way, if you are needing to seek approval because you are trying to conform into a certain worldly standard or into a certain preset mode, right, that does not bring out the righteousness of Christ in you, then you need to check again whether it's a negative influence or a positive influence. Another thing that you may also want to confirm is to check whether you are trying to please them so much, or you are so focused on pleasing a particular person, and everything that you do is tailored along that path. Galatians 1:10 told us that Apostle Paul was the one talking, and he said, am I trying to seek approval from people? I think the most important part is to seek God's approval. Once God endorses what you're doing or endorses your behavior or your character, then you are good. God's approval is more important than the approval of men. Then finally is that you are working with comparison in mind. Every time you look at Instagram, you look at videos, pictures, reels, and what have you, and you begin to get to the point where you are comparing yourself with other people, it tells you that there is a negative influence here. The reality of life is that when you get to the point where you begin to compare yourself, or you begin to aim for certain things because other people are having them, someone told me a story about a neighbor who would always aim for competition. Every time they bought something in their own home, maybe they bought a new car or a new furniture, this person will quickly go and get that same kind of furniture or that same kind of car. That is not a good way of life. You will continue to be competing, and it gets to a point where you can't keep up. You can't keep up. It will push you to do things that you're not supposed to do, right? So you don't want to live under that kind of radar or under the shadow of other people. You are created as a masterpiece. You are a work of art. And you should carry yourself as one. You are different. Imagine if all of us were the same and talking the same way, living our lives the same way, dressing the same way. It will have been boring, right? It will have been boring. There will be no creativity, no uniqueness anymore. So now, if you are not living by the standards of other people and you are not comparing yourself to them, you'll be able to stand and be unique in your own way. You are different. And your own difference is such that it can be celebrated. So don't compare yourself with other people. Don't be under that pressure. Every time you get to that pressure, to that point where you begin to compare yourself with what other people are doing, is a negative influence and you need to flee from it. Okay? Encourage yourself, look at yourself every day and make confessions about who you are and whose you are. You are beautifully made, you are fearfully made, you are royalty, and it doesn't matter what color, shape, size you are the best person ever. And you are unique in your own self. Believe it and keep on working in that consciousness. So negative influences are always all around us. They are everywhere, and they are just waiting for the person who will fall victim of that influence. But you see, the good thing is that God has created you to be strong, to be firm, to be able to overcome all of the need and the urge to conform to all those standards that want to change your outlook to life, that want to change the values of God that you have been nurturing for all the past years. So I want to encourage you to flee from negative influences that may want to corrupt you or make you to conform to certain standards of the world rather than conforming to the will of God. Whenever you see them, no matter their shape, no matter their color, no matter wherever they are coming from or how sneaky they can be, learn to flee. Don't hang in there, right? You have what it takes to be able to overcome every of those influences. At this point, I want to encourage you, if you have not already done so, to subscribe to this channel where we encourage ourselves in the pathway of righteousness so that we can be the best person ever that God created us to be. So if you have not subscribed, please do well to do so, and also tag the other people in this video so that they can get to watch, they can also get to learn. If you know somebody who has been struggling over the years, with various influences and they easily get corrupted and they have refused to be their best person ever or their best character ever, tag them in this video and also share it with them so that they can also watch it. I want to say thank you so much for sticking around up to this very point. Thank you for watching.